Hey there everybody, it's Clifton with Clifton Creative Academy, and in this video we're going to be learning about backing up your website with backupbuddy. Now backupbuddy is a backup plugin, and it is a premium backup plugin that is offered by iThemes. iThemes is a company that has been developing premium WordPress themes and plugins for over 10 years. Matter of fact, when I got started in this space, actually, and with WordPress, iThemes was one of the premier companies where I used to get a lot of my tools. I still get several of my tools from there, including their backup plugin. They also offer a security plugin. They have a sync plugin, landing pages, and many other tools that are great for either running a WordPress based web business or just a web business period, or building out websites. They also offer a lot of training. Some of it's free, and then some of it is offered in a membership part of their website. But it's all WordPress training, and it's all really, really good stuff. So there are a few companies, WordPress companies, who've been around for a long time that I typically recommend anyone who's doing anything with the web or with WordPress be a part of, and iThemes is at the top of that list, amongst many others. But let's talk about backups. So why would you want to make backups? Well, when you first build out your website, one of the things about websites today is that they're dynamic. So typically you're making changes, you're adding posts, creating new pages, making different updates. And what you want to do is you want to back up, you want to have a backup of it. And I typically recommend you have a backup in a cloud solution like Dropbox or Amazon or Google Drive. And you should also have one that is backed up to an external drive or a local drive so that you have those files ready. And there are some other backup plugins that are available. We'll actually talk about them in our next video here, but I wanted to start with backupbuddy because I've been using backupbuddy for over 10 years, and it is actually a part of our agency's restore and migrate protocol. So backupbuddy has been extremely reliable for us, and it is a plugin that I think everyone should have. Now, it is a premium plugin, and what that means is it's not free. So you do have to buy the plugin to be able to use it. And the plugin is offered by iThemes, and I believe they offer it. Actually, let me see what their pricing is. They offer it for $80 on the lowest end, and I think it goes all the way to $199 for unlimited sites. So you get it for $80 for one. You can back up one site, $127 for 10 sites, and $199 for unlimited sites. And but there are a lot of benefits that you get. I know a lot of people might look at this price tag and think this is kind of high, but if you think about it, they actually offer a lot of different benefits at the same time. So one of it is that they give you 1 GB of backup stash storage space. Now, stash is sort of like a storage space that is offered directly by iThemes, so that your backups can go in there safely and be saved as you're making it, especially if you schedule these backups. And on the highest end, you can get 5 GB, and they even sell additional stash storage separately. So that's one of the benefits that you do get. And then you also get to be able to sync sites. Now, syncing means that you are essentially managing multiple WordPress sites and scheduling those backups for those sites to run automatically. So everything is pretty much synced. So when you make changes on those sites, then it syncs a backup to your stash site, and then you have that ready for you in the event that something happens to your site. So this is definitely something to consider and add to your repertoire or your tools that you have for backups and for your website. Now, the other reason you want to make backups is websites, especially WordPress sites, are constantly under attack by malware. So we'll make another video talking about security, so you can minimize the chances of that happening. But if your site gets hacked, or if it gets taken down or defaced in some way, it's great to have a backup that you can always go back to and restore the site fairly quickly. And with backupbuddy, you can do that. So let's dive right into backupbuddy, and I'll show you how to make quick backups with your site with backupbuddy for your website. So we have this demo site right now. It's a barbershop website, okay? And in a later video, we'll talk about how to build one of these. And I want to back up this site, so I'm going to go to plugins. and I'm gonna click on add new. And this is a plugin that since you've purchased it, you'll have to upload it from your computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload it from mine. Install. Activate. And now the plugin is installed. Okay. Now typically you have a license. You add in your license here so you can get automatic updates for Backup Buddy. But right here, if you look right down here, you'll notice that the Backup Buddy tools are right here. If we mouse over here, you'll see that we have backup, stash, which is basically a place where your backups can go that is offered by iThemes, restore and migrate, so you can restore previously backed up websites, remote destination, so you can choose what destination you want your site to go to, whether Dropbox or G Suite or Google Drive, and a host of others. Server tools, a malware scanning tool, capability of scheduling, and settings. So let's go ahead and start at the settings. Okay. So when you get to settings, here, okay, you will have these 5 tabs. So it's general settings, advanced settings, recent activity, other, and licensing. Now, what I found with Backup Buddy is really you only need to set up the general settings. There are advanced settings and troubleshooting settings as well, and we'll look through that very briefly. But this is a very, very easy plug and play plugin. But the first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to set up a Import Buddy password. Okay. Now, Import Buddy is a script inside of Backup Buddy that you will use to run a restoration of the backup when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create my password. Okay, here you can set up a custom local storage directory for your backups. I'm going to leave that blank. Then the Backup Buddy access permission should be always set to administrator if you're the administrator. Okay. Email notifications. You want to be able to send notifications after a period of no backup. So if you've set up your backups to happen and it don't happen for 10 days and you want to get a notification, you'll put your email in here. And so I'm going to leave my email in there in case there's an error. Okay. Here are your local storage limits. I typically leave this as a default. I don't make any changes here. And then your database defaults. I want it to basically select the WordPress tables. Okay, I don't want it to select all tables, including non-WordPress, because I really just want my backup speed light and have everything that I need to restore it to what the site looks like. And then you can exclude tables or include tables here. So this is your database for your site, and it literally pulls those tables, and you can choose to include or exclude whatever tables you want. Backup Buddy is extremely granular, so you can back up exactly what you want to back up or what you do not want to back up. And then your file directly. So these are your WordPress files. Again, sometimes people have additional files in here that they necessarily don't want to back up. So you can choose to exclude those here. Okay, and when you select one to be excluded, for instance, let's say I don't want, this is just an example, so you wouldn't want to do this, but let's say I don't want WP admin. So now it's going to be excluded from the backup. And you can see how it does it there. And to fix that, I'm just going to go ahead and hit here and delete it because I do want to include WP admin. Okay. And then you can choose whether you want to back up active plugins only or exclude plugins that you don't have activated. Although if you don't have a plugin activated on your WordPress install, you want to make sure to remove that plugin so it's not taking up extra space or exposing your site to a problem. Okay. So we've got our settings set up. So really all we did here was add our password. So I'm going to go ahead and save the general settings. And just for kicks, we're going to just look through the other tabs. So advanced settings and troubleshooting. And as you can see here, there's a lot of settings that you can set up. Everything from backup reminders to the time and dates. When to retry in case a backup fails. You can chunk down your backups and so on. So when you get a chance, depending on your needs, you can come down here and set this up any way that you like. This is where your recent activity will be found. So it's already done a scan of the website and it didn't find any malware, which is awesome. And then here we can see our version history and housekeeping and troubleshooting. What Backup Buddy does is after it's done doing the backup, it will clean up after itself on a regular basis. This is very important. That way you're not leaving any extra old backups laying around in your site taking up space. Okay. All right, now let's get back to the top. So we just went through settings. Let's go to backup. When you click on backup, this is where the magic of Backup Buddy occurs. Backup Buddy has a capability for you to create backup profiles. Now, what is a backup profile? A backup profile is essentially you saying, hey, this is the type of backup that I want. I want a database only backup, or I want a complete backup. I only want you to back up the themes, or maybe only backup plugins, backup media only. And you can create your own profile by literally clicking this plus sign, naming it, okay, whatever you want, and you can choose what type of backup you want. You can do custom files where you selected the specific files that you want, or you can use one of the pre-selected profiles that are available now. Okay, so we're not going to do this here, so we're going to leave that alone. Well, actually, we can just add one. So let's just add. We're going to add this as custom backup. And in this one, we're going to say custom files, and we're going to add this profile. And you can see it right here. It's already added. Okay. And then the way to configure this is you click this gear, and here you can configure exactly what you want it to do. Right. So if I come here, I can configure this. This is my custom backup, right? So normally what I recommend, what I do is I will do a complete backup of the site. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on complete backup, and it immediately starts creating the backup. Okay, so it starts with backing up your settings, then your database, then your files, and then it'll be finished. Okay, the backup is completed. All right, so now you get the chance to be able to download the backup file, or you can send it to an offsite destination. I want to download the backup file to my local computer so that I have it. So you see here we have the download, and it has the name of the site and the date in the name. Is exactly how I would like it. I'm going to click save, and now this is saved to my computer. Okay, if I go to backups, then I will see here the latest local backup, and I can re-download it. I can browse and restore files, right? I could do a database rollback. And it's telling me here that the status of this backup is good. Okay. Now, since I've downloaded this to my computer, I can actually delete this backup and create the extra space on my server. But for now, I'm just going to leave this alone. I just wanted to show you what happens once you've done the backup and how quickly the backup is done. Okay. So now that we've done this backup, let's quickly go through the tabs here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to restore this site, save if the site is gone. Okay, so if we look at Stash Live, which is the next menu item, okay, Stash Live is basically a way for you to connect this backup capability to iTheme's Stash service, and the Stash service again is just storage. And essentially, you can send your backups there when you make them. Okay, restore and migrate. So restore and migrate will allow you to download the script that you need to restore the website on another domain, or it could be the same domain if you had a problem or it's been compromised in some way. So restore and migrate allows you to download Import Buddy. So if I click on this, it then tells me to download Import Buddy. And remember when we created that initial password, well, we can change that password now, or we can choose to keep it the same. So I want to choose to keep it the same, and it now gives me the Import Buddy script. So to restore a website, you're going to need this Import Buddy file, and you're going to need the backup file. So typically, I like to name my Import Buddy files. I'll just take out this numeric number thing here, and I'll name it after the site itself so I can find it later. So this is Clifton Tutorials. That's the website. And save. Okay, so now I've saved that locally. Remote destinations. These are all the destinations that you can send your backup files to. So we already talked about Backup Buddy Stash. There's Amazon S3, Google Drive, FTP, Dropbox, and so on. You can even do it through FTP, Rackspace Cloud Files. Email, you could send the backup by email to yourself. So this is pretty good, pretty cool. Okay. Server tools. Your server tools is basically Backup Buddy telling you about your server. You know, do you have the latest version of Backup Buddy, and is your server capable of handling the backup process that it offers? Okay. Malware scan is where you can go and basically run a scan of your site. So it will tell you if there's malware been detected on your site, and you'll see that right here. And it uses security to do that for you. Okay. Schedules. This is where we can schedule our backups, and you can create multiple schedules. So I can say I want this to be a daily backup. Okay. And then I can choose what I want. Either that custom backup profile I wanted, or I want a complete backup every time. And then when do I want this to happen? I want it to happen once daily. Okay. But there are other options. You can do everything from once hourly to once yearly. I don't recommend once yearly. At a minimum, I would say once daily. Okay. And then you can set the date of the next time your backup would run, and you can add a remote destination. Okay. You can also choose to delete the local backup file. Now, the reason you may want to do this is because your local backup files, when you do a backup, are stored on your server, and they do take up space, because remember, you're backing up the entire site. So you may want to delete it once it's done and you're certain it's been deleted to the destination that you wanted it to go to. Okay. And then we've already been through settings. So that's it. You know, you go to backup. We can see our backup that we did here. It was very easy. We simply clicked on complete backup, and the backup occurred, and then we downloaded the file, and now we have it. So how do we restore the site? Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to restore this site, which is at cliftontutorials.com, and we're going to restore it to another domain, and they look exactly the same. It'll have everything on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So the first thing we want to do is we want to access the new domain that we want to basically copy this site to, or restore this site to. All right, and to do that, you're going to go to your hosting company or your cPanel. The hosting company that we use is SiteGround. I'll leave a link in the description below, but at SiteGround, I found them to be one of the best hosting companies out there, and they allow you to have a pretty fast server, great support, and they are great for building out a hosting business if you're ever thinking about doing that. Okay, so let's go right into it. So if I go here to SiteGround, and I will come to my cPanel, which is here, and I'm going to go to File Manager. Okay, and under File Manager, I have this backup.cliftontutorials.com. I'm going to restore that site to this domain here. Okay, so this is what I do. Now, before I do that, there is one thing that I have to do. In order for WordPress to work, WordPress needs a MySQL database and the WordPress files. When we did the backup, we did back up the MySQL database and we did back up the WordPress files, but that needs to be restored to a new file manager, which is this, right? And it also needs to be restored to a new database. So in order for this to work, we're going to need to create a database that is empty for it to restore the new database to. If that makes sense. So before I access this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a MySQL database, and it's very easy to do in your SiteGround cPanel or whatever hosting company you're using. They should have a database creation tool. Simply click on the MySQL database wizard. Okay. And you'll need to remember or write down the name of your database because we're going to need it later. Okay. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to call this one backup as the new database. And then I'm going to create a user for it called backup user or back user or B user. Let's call it B user. Okay. And the password, let's create a password that you will remember. Okay, we create the user, give them all permissions, so all privileges. Next step. And now our database and our new user has been created. So now we're ready. Go back to your cPanel home, go to File Manager, select the domain that you want to access, click Go, and it should be empty except for this CGI bin file, but everything should be empty here, ready for our backup. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click on Upload, choose File, select the backup, and upload it. And if your uploader allows it while that's going on, go ahead and choose File again and upload the import buddy file as well. And just allow those two files to upload. Okay, the upload is now complete. I'm going to go back to our file manager. And while I'm here, one of the things I recommend you do is change the name of this import buddy file to just importbuddy.php. Okay? The reason I do that is that it makes it very easy for me to navigate to this file when I'm ready to restore the site. Okay? Now, so currently this site is at cliftontutorials.com. And here we have, on our new site here, we have just these two files in here. So you're going to leave this exactly as it is. And what we're going to do now is, in a new tab, I'm going to navigate to my domain, backup.cliftontutorials.com. And then when I do that, I'm going to click a slash and type in the name of the import buddy file, which is importbuddy.php. Okay, so I'm navigating to this file right here. And once I do that, hit enter. All right, and then I'm going to click enter, and it begins a process of restoring the site. So you do need to remember what your import buddy password was to begin. If you don't remember it, you can always do a forgot password, which is awesome about Backup Buddy here. So I do remember my password. Authenticate. All right, and here we are. So now I ask you to select the backup to restore. And I want to restore the backup to the one that I uploaded in here. So it already detected the backup that I have. Okay, so I want to restore this backup. So I'm going to go ahead and click Restore Backup. All right. And now it tells me to set up our database settings that we have. So here I'm going to make, this is going to be localhost. All right. And my database name was backup, and my user, enter my user. My password. And then a database prefix. Now the default database prefix for WordPress is typically this, but I don't like using this. I like to always change it in case there are malware programs out there that use that as a detection method to find out whether your site is built with WordPress. So I'm going to change this into that. Okay, there'll be a new prefix. Then go ahead and click on the next step, and then it begins the process of restoring your database. Okay, and then here's the last step. It's going to take the old URL, okay, and it's going to change those URLs to whatever the new URL is going to be, which should be the new domain. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, this looks correct. So I'm going to go ahead and click next step. The database migration was successful. And now it gives me the finishing page. So here's one thing that's awesome about Backup Buddy. First, it allows me to verify that the site was successfully restored. And then it asks me about my site search engine visibility. So I can turn that on and off from here. And then it has an import buddy cleanup. So those files, those tool files that we uploaded in there, it's going to do a cleanup of those files. But before we do that, I want to check to make sure that my site actually restored correctly. So this is the original site at cliftontutorials.com. This is the import, this is the backup, restore and migrate. So when I click on that, to see if the site, you can see that the site did restore. It restored exactly the same as the original site. This is what is powerful about BackupBuddy. Okay, so restored exactly the same. All the links work. Everything looks great. Okay, so now I can go back to my Import Buddy page, and I'm gonna go ahead and click on Finish Cleanup, and it will clean up my server, remove all those temporary files in the zip archive and the Import Buddy tool. It'll remove all that, and now everything is finished. So now we have our newly restored website, and that is how BackupBuddy works. Okay. So that brings us to the end of our video tutorial on BackupBuddy. I will leave a link in the description below to being able to get the plugin for yourself if you want it. Okay, now I know that iThemes is offering a 40% off the plugin suite. So this is a huge discount, and hopefully by the time you watch this video, they're still running this special. But BackupBuddy by itself, if you were to get BackupBuddy by itself, it's $80 for up to one site, for just one site, and then it's $199 to back up unlimited sites. But right now they're running a promo special of 40% off what they're calling the plugin suite. Now, what the plugin suite is a series of plugins that they offer, including BackupBuddy, but you're getting an unlimited license of it for a very low price. So if we look at the what's included in this, I'm going to go ahead and click here, see what's included. Okay, so the plugin suite. So you're going to get BackupBuddy, iTheme Security Pro, landing pages plugin, the content upgrades plugin, 1 GB free of stash storage, and iTheme Sync for up to 10 sites. And what is the pricing here? The pricing here is $149. Instead of $249, you would be paying $149 for unlimited use of all these plugins. So if you're watching this today, go ahead and pick this up now. And at least for a year, you'll have use of BackupBuddy. And we will be making videos on these other plugins, which are pretty good plugins as well, that you can use in building some pretty dynamic pages and doing some great things with your website. Okay, if you like this video, please go ahead and give us a subscribe to the video, and go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when we make our next video as well. Also, if you have something that you want to know about WordPress or a plugin or a theme or how to build something, please put that in the comments below, and we'll make a tutorial about that. We'll look at what you submit and make a tutorial about it so that you can learn how to be able to do that. So once again, thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified of our additional videos that we post, and I will see you next time in the next video.